good. And oh,
what a rocket!
the work cut out for them. I think in terms of like pure late game 5v5, I still like the TDE comp, but they might not get to that point. Ultravox getting locked up by the Leota, trying to get away.
As Swifty did not stay long enough. Civillock in trouble.
Ooh, Civillock getting advanced on by Sunny, but that's a nice stun. Sunny's ignited. I don't think you make this. Sunny goes up, hook goes wide, so nothing has started just yet. Utility Monster jumps forward first. Valiancy fighting red. Meanwhile, that's going to be Sunny going down. Jeff God Gamer goes wild, gets double kill off of New Wave Tsunami. Swifty and Gimme a Reset having to run away. 4 members of New Wave Tsunami go down to Universal Basic Income. Swifty now on the back pedal goes down to Jeff God Gamer. Scores 7-11.
They have to commit to playing a split push, and even that might not be strong enough as Valiancy getting taken very low.
Yeah, Utility Monster trying to go for the 1v1. Valiancy valiantly trying to slay him. Utility Monster goes down, actually. He thought, but Valiancy had it. The side of Universal Basic Income. Swifty goes golden. Build a pony is really low. Jeff God Gamer putting out the damage. Sunny goes golden. Universal a little bit.
So gonna have to walk it out. Now here comes the Death March. Red still has that ultimate.
Oh, Universal Basic Income putting out the Zac ulti. Jeff God Gamer is legendary, taking out Valiancy. Utility Monster jumps forward. No fear at all. Sunny goes down. Double kill for Jeff God Gamer. Ollie maybe. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Friend or Foe at Season 5's Heroic League. We just saw New Wave Tsunami versus Universal Basic Income, where UB came out on top. Up next, we've got Rapidly Losing Sanity versus Pandas with Hats. My name is Chris Sunga. I'll be your play-by-play caster this evening. Joined with me is TDE Zen Zen. How you doing, brother?
I am doing great, and what a great way to close out the day today with this matchup. RLS, sitting solidly middle of the pack with that 6-6 record. Pandas with Hats, doing their absolute best to cling on to playoff hopes, would need to win essentially all of their matches to make it. And they're starting things off quite good, targeting away Kieri's powerful Urgot and Darius, and trying to leave space for the Schmeckles to come in full force.
Yeah, I'm very excited to cast a Schmeckles game. It's going to be my first time casting Pandas with Hats. Hubes has been a teammate of mine way back when in Season 2. We didn't play together because we were like the same position. We were swapping subs. But I'm excited to cast him. And RLS, I've known them for so long. My cousin's on that team. And I'm just really excited to be able to cast these 2 games. RLS already locked in for playoffs, I believe. Already locked in to specifically play against Wash, no matter what the seeding is. So they're already comfortable there. They might try to play spoil for Pandas with Hats, who need to win every single game to try to stay alive in these last 2 games.
Yeah. And kicking things off strong, the blind pick, first pick Thresh for Tephra, a character that they've been very familiar with and done quite well with. Pandas with Hats rapidly responding back with their bottom lane of choice. The Kaisa going to be locked in early. Now this is interesting because PWH has the option to flex this into the mid lane, so I actually really like picking this up in the top 3 because that AP Kaisa can be very effective as a mid lane poke character as well as a bottom laner. So I really like their draft so far. RLS though, they know exactly what they want, and they want to slam with Victor Diana.
Yeah, Thresh, Victor, Diana already picked up in the first 3 picks on the side of Rapidly Losing Sanity. Pandas with Hats on R3. LeBlanc on the table right now. LeBlanc taken up by Hubes. I think that's the first time Hubes has played LeBlanc this season.
I don't have the stats offhand, but I would not be surprised. Very powerful character, very interesting dynamics with this team, because now we have this sort of poke character in the Kaisa who can dive if they need to, paired with this assassin in the LeBlanc who can sort of hop in and out of a fight and really wants to remain non-committal, chunk people out, and then go in afterwards. So I actually really like what Pandas with Hats is sort of drafting here, but it will be a finicky match to try and sort. Meanwhile, taking a look at RLS, they're going to go ahead and throw bans towards the jungle, take away the Viego, and they are in full team fight mode in classic RLS fashion. I mean, Diana, Victor, these are characters that are great in a team fight, fantastic in a choke point, and I think that they're going to look to continue to build towards that as they figure out what they want for their AD carry and their top laner.
Full jungle bans coming out of rapidly losing sanity for a good time, coming in, replacing Think That I Can as an emergency substitute for the sake of the rest of the season, since Think That I Can couldn't play anymore. And yeah, got confirmation Cubes has never played LeBlanc in the season at least, so first time for him. J4 most likely getting picked up on the side of... Oh, never mind, that's going to be a swap over to Lee Sin for a good time.
Oh boy, I cannot wait to see this. We actually saw Lee Sin picked up by an emergency substitute in the Mythic League last week.
True.
And it crushed that game. So if there's any sort of FOF history for a good time, channeling that Lee Sin god on the inside. And honestly, I like it because it gives you a great bridge towards the mid to late game when this Kai'Sa and LeBlanc start to become strong. If you have that powerful early game character who can set up ganks and make sure these characters are safe and on top of things, that's going to go great for them. Because right now, RLS sort of getting outranged by Pandas with Hats in this draft. Don't really have an answer to Voltaic Penguin's Kai'Sa poke. Instead, just going to lock in Zeri and Sion.
Yeah, Zeri going over to Escape right now. Sion, comfort pick for Kieri Alexion, who has been credited as the person being much less coin flippy compared to someone like Anti, who was MVP of Season 4, of course. RLS Anti. Shoutouts to him. Garen potentially being picked up by the Schmeckles. We'll see slowly if that's going to be a final pick. We'll see. And it looks like it is Pandas with Hats has locked in Garen for that final pick for Dr. Schmeckles. Lee Sin, comfort pick for a good time. Very confident pick, in my opinion. If you, I've just always said in Friend or Foe, if you decide to play Lee Sin, it just means you're very, very confident in yourself and your abilities, which is going to be very exciting to see. But based off this draft has concluded. Zen, thoughts on RLS versus Pandas with Hats?
Speaking to this topside matchup, as someone who has played Sion into the Schmeckster and gotten absolutely bodied before, I am interested that Pandas with Hats have chosen to take Garen for Dr. Schmeckles instead of the more traditional set counter pick that he murdered me twice on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is something that Schmeckles has shown success with. He's really comfortable on the character. And he does have like a very important body that can like really eliminate key members. If he lands that ultimate on War Leader when War Leader's trying to go in, that can be great. Ooh, flash burn from Pengu's Soul immediately. Super Rashi throwing some heat.
Yeah, I mean that's a level 1 Nautilus for you. Sometimes I see that in FOF. You just if you see Nautilus on the other side, just be careful for the flash mid lane. Happens 9 times out of 10. Pandas with Hats, though, got the flash out of Pengu Soul. He was going to feel happy with that on that LeBlanc. War Leader and Dr. Schmeckles fighting it out right now. Dr. Schmeckles, I don't know if you're not paying attention or if you're like, no, I don't even really care. Dr. Schmeckles, though, gets ignited. First blood goes over to Pengu Soul.
Yeah, Schmeckles seeing blood in the water like he often does, and unfortunately the blood was his blood in the river there. So caught a little bit off guard. But taking a look at this game more broadly, it does look like once again we're going to have both junglers starting on the bottom side of the map and pathing their way upwards. So my eyes are on what this Lee Sin can accomplish from For a Good Time. We don't have a lot of good tape or like a read on what this character or what this player will do in the jungle because, again, he is sort of this emergency substitute player who's coming in at a pivotal moment in the season. And I'm very excited to see where he wants to go and how he wants to spend his time. Because if I'm him, I am looking straight at that mid lane and straight at punishing Pengu Soul.
Yeah, absolutely. A flashless Victor is just so attractive for any jungler right now. For a good time. Coming in for Think That I Can. I mean, you got to wonder what mind in this scenario. If he's obviously he's on a team that was already lower in the standings. So if he's a person that wants to play again in the future, he's looking to just have a good showing in these matches and see if a team wants to pick him up again in the future, or if Pandas wants to keep him.
Yeah, absolutely. As it does seem like we'll take Panda. Gonna get the level 2 push.
Yep, Subarashi goes for the hook the moment they have level 2. Tephra is still level 1 though, has to flash away. Heal is burned as well. Tephra like 1 HP, 1 tick away. Hubes also getting the electrocute onto Pengosu.
Yeah, I mean, despite Pandas with Hats being a 2-10 team, you'd be forgiven for thinking that they were a top squad, because in this bottom lane pairing has been so powerful in the early stages of the game. They just haven't been quite able to convert to those wins. As we saw that there, they knew exactly when to push for the level 2, immediately get the hook onto Tef, and for a good time, he's here.
For a good time is here. Kieri Alexion tries to get the knockup, but doesn't get it in time. Dr. Schmeckles able to get the assist on that. For a good time, having a nice good time. Oh, Schmeckles! Oh, you might not do that. Oh boy.
Oh no, justice for Kieri as they come and fight from the death, sending Schmeckles into the death realm with them. Still though, gonna be overall favored for Pandas with Hats, as for a good time, trying to do some fancy feet.
Oh, for a good time, trying to see if he can win this 1v1. The smite comes through for a good time, but Hubes is here. Hubes flash forwards for a good time, misses the Q. Kieri Alexion and Pengusol are here. 3 members from each side are here. Schmeckles has arrived to the party. Kieri Alexion on the back pedal. So is Pengusol, War Leader, 1 HP. Kieri Alexion, you still have flash. Q goes through. Kieri Alexion goes down to for a good time. Meanwhile, bot lane will take Penguin running really low for a good time, dying to Kieri Alexion's Scion ult again, man. You just gotta run away. You just run. You just
What
leave
is
it.
happening?
I don't know.
Have they like never seen a zombie movie before? What? Pandas! You can't, like, you're doing so good, and then I'm at a loss for words, Chris. What a wild start to our final game on this Monday. This is awesome.
Yeah, okay. Alright, Chris. Okay, alright. You can put that away. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Pandas with Hats. Nice plays in the top side. Unfortunately, does go down to Kieri Alexion. Good for RLS to be able to take something in return for a good time. Now hovering this bottom side of the map right now, while Escape is a little pushed forward. Tephra doesn't have flash. The Lantern happens, but Q goes wide, doesn't hit. So Escape and Tephra are okay.
Yeah. Really love what For a Good Time has been able to do. I mean, we've seen him have impactful roams all 3, you know, in all sort of areas of the map. And even though he does give up his life for Kieri Alexion, this is exactly the kind of play that you want to have from a Lee Sin player. Already 2-1, already made his presence known on the map, and the rest of the map of RLS is going to have to play a little bit wary, knowing that he's comfortable, you know, sort of taking these proactive plays.
Yep, Hube's getting a lot of damage onto Pengusol. God, I would really like to see more Lee Sin players in our league. I think it's just a treat to watch. I know it's very scary because Lee Sin can be very mechanical heavy, but Dr. Schmeckles, Kieri Alexion slapping each other in the face just a little bit, just like top lane. For a good time, hovering this middle lane a little bit. Looks like he's just going to back out, though.
Yeah, now, credit where credit is due, RLS is doing a great job of being unfazed. If we take a look at this game state, they're actually up a full 1,000 gold at 5 minutes, and that's simply because their laners are CSing better across the board in both mid and in jungle and in bottom lane. They're getting those passive leads. I feel like Pandas with Hats will have to navigate this game. I like that they're trying to make these proactive plays, but they need to do it in a smarter, more efficient way, as Schmeckles going to be forced to flash.
Yeah, Schmeckles forced to flash after Kieri Alexion summons that Scion ulti. The knockup goes through. Schmeckles, you might be a little too low. Kieri Alexion taking the 3rd kill for themselves, and that means RLS says it's okay to go for this dragon take, even though it looks like Pandas with Hats initially wanted it. For a good time, potentially looking for a steal opportunity. But there is a sandwich situation here. Subarashi goes with the blast cone. They're able to catch Tephra. For a good time, able to slay them, and there's the RLS escape. Trying to escape, no escape found. That's going to be RLS going down 2 kills over to Pandas with Hats. Meanwhile, 2 kills also over to RLS.
Yep, 2 for 2, but crucially, RLS still maintaining their CS lead, and you know, this gap in top lane, unfortunately, is only going to continue to grow as You know, one of the issues in this matchup is that Schmeckles is going to really struggle to find an into the Scion queue. It's just so difficult because you don't really have tools to interrupt it. As you can see there, Kieri can just immediately slam it down, and Schmeckles doesn't have the health for this. Going to be chunked really low.
I don't even think he cares, man. Schmeckles just wants to Beyblade it up, but he's just gonna walk away once he realizes he has lost a little bit too much health.
Yeah, and I mean that fight is so close to going differently. If the Schmeckster can just get a little bit of extra farm, he will hit level 6 as he's just done, and then maybe he can play for a turnaround attack. But this lane is looking real uncomfortable. I would not want to be the Garen in this scenario.
For a good time, hovering
Ooh,
this
great
mid lane
chain.
right now. Hughes was able to get the chain. That's a nice Q from For a Good Time, and Hughes gets the shutdown onto Pangusol.
Yeah, and I mean this is why we see LeBlanc and Lee Sin in pro play. I mean this is the move. LeBlanc has such incredibly strong gank setup for your mid laner or for your jungler, and we saw it right there. Just immediately land the chain into more than enough damage with the Lee Sin Q. Gonna pick up a kill and you know, help be a ray of hope for Pandas with Hats, because the rest of their map is looking for some help.
Absolutely, and Hughes. Ooh, actually, the hook gonna go live onto Voltaic. Penguin, Subarashi gonna get the stun onto escape, so not too much damage is gonna be taken. Just a little bit of a trade. Hughes, on the other hand, my personal opinion, one of the better mid laners in the league, has been a superstar on this team. Even though the standings don't support that, I think Hughes has been performing very admirably. Meanwhile, Pangusol, I mean, currently 6th place right now in damage per minute, has always been solid. Been a bit of a heart attack player every now and then. Every time I see his Ari, I'm always a little scared. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I love my guy Pangusol. It's interesting because having laned against him in last season in the Helios League of FOF, it feels like he's a very different player than what I used to see. But he's still quite good on these control mages, like the Victor. I'm happy to see RLS giving him that opportunity to find success here. That Ari, I think, in a competitive setting, is very tricky to play. I mean, even in our last game that we saw, Yubi playing against the Ari. The Ari just like really struggled to fight into the tanks that are so common in FOF. Oh my goodness!
Nice gank from For a Good Time. Kicks Pangusol back. Ulti goes live. LeBlanc's gonna have to flash away. Hughes is actually really low. Pangusol almost had it, but that's gonna be Hughes taking down Pangusol. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Dr. Schmeckles running really low. That's gonna be the Scion ulti, and Kieri Alexion has taken another kill for themselves.
Yeah, fantastic stand-up performance from Kieri Alexion. But can we just talk about how For a Good Time is absolutely popping off in this game?
Yeah. Oh, nice thresh hook from Tefra. Voltaic Penguin has to flash away, but escape gets the bop on them. Subarashi walking away. Yeah, I agree with you. For a Good Time. I mean, in this scenario, in general, it's just so hard to be a jungler going into a team that already had some kind of synergy in place, and then you being a new jungler, such a critical role in the game. It's got to be so difficult. So, looking good. Looked a little rough in the past few weeks, but For a Good Time, popping off today.
I mean, this game is just so action-packed back and forth, we don't have the time to chat, because immediately as we're talking about it, we're seeing more action in the bottom lane. RLS continuing to snowball their lead slightly up to about 2,000 gold. Hughes taking a heavy trade here. I'm going to force Pangusol to think twice about showing up back into that lane, but this is exactly what you want to see from Kieri. Just immediately, you know, grow the gold lead, threaten the freeze, make the Schmeckster as uncomfortable as possible.
Schmeckles trying to retaliate as much as they can, of course, but Kieri playing the lane very, very intelligently. Meanwhile, bot lane, there's going to be a dragon in 30 seconds. We're going to see how both teams react to that. Dr. Schmeckles and Kieri Alexion just taking a couple pages out of Will Smith's book, slapping each other in the face. Dr. Schmeckles pulls down the sword. Kieri Alexion does not die. Off screen, Kieri Alexion does take the kill. Subarashi runs really low. Our leader takes Subarashi down. Voltaic Penguin has ulti to the back line, and War Leader has to run away. Voltaic Penguin on the back pedal on the wrong side of the jungle. Hughes is there to back him up, though, just in case. Tef on the chase. Voltaic Penguin trying to see if they can 2v2 this. Tefra flashed forward. That's going to be Hughes popping off. Potentially could get more, but that's going to be Pangusol taking down Hughes.
Yeah, absolute disaster for Pandas with Hats across the map. Not only losing the solo kill once again in the top lane, but also, you know, getting caught out in the river around that dragon does mean that this is just a massive lead 4K and 2 dragons at 12 minutes is going to be tough for any team to come back from, and particularly this team that needs to scale to be successful. They need that 3-item power spike from this Kaisa before she becomes like a poking monster, and I'm worried that they're just not going to get there at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Kieri Alexion, so much pressure in the top lane. So that's going to be, for a good time, rushing over to the mid lane, trying to get some mid lane pressure. Kieri Alexion going for the top lane pressure. Rift Herald does get spawned by the side of Pandas with hats, attracting 3 members of RLS towards that mid lane. Meanwhile, Dr. Schmeckles and Kieri Alexion just slapping each other in the face. Kieri Alexion, this could be another kill for you. Schmeckles, nice silence. The ulti goes through. Schmeckles has to flash away. Schmeckles flashes and walks to the other side of the wall, and Kieri gets another kill.
Poor Dr. Schmeckles. He did the cardinal sin of flashing, which is when you flash in a direction that still gets you hit by the skill shot.
Yeah.
Tragically going to perish Kieri Alexion in a position to carry this game. I'm interested to see if at this point you transition to a hole breaker, because I don't think that this lane gets better for Schmeckles, but we don't have time for that. We got action.
Oh, Subarashi going for the ulti and a flash hook, but RLS escape, managing to avoid that hook. For a good time is here just to support this gank, but for a good time decides to say abort this mission. Escape
That
is
move speed
advancing
still.
forward. Lots of movement speed
Escape.
coming out of that Zeri. For a good time, could be running really low. Subarashi gets hooked, could go down. Escape goes down. Tefra now on the back pedal. Pangusol is here to support him though, but that's going to be the rest of Pandas with hats walking away. Let's take a look at that replay. Here's Escape coming in.
Escape feels like he's so safe, but he gets hooked by Subarashi, and that is just enough crowd control into the root, just immediately blown up. Meanwhile, on the top side, RLS is just absolutely everywhere. They take a kill against the Garen while the play is happening bottom, and man, it is just a fiesta right now.
Yeah, Pandas with hats. Nice play on the bot side, but losing a lot in the top side of their map right now. 0-7 on the Dr. Schmeckles, 6-2 on Kieri Alexion. She is on a rampage so far.
Yeah, and you're starting to see, this is the stage in the game where that lead starts to affect the rest of the map. For a good time, pathing up to topside will realize very quickly that he doesn't have any more camps to clear because War Leader and Alexion had control of that jungle for such a long period of time. And that has contributed to a 30 CS deficit in the jungle, in addition to the outstanding performance of the Scion, who has just been crushing it in top. Now that's starting to bleed into other places, and Pandas needs to find a way to recover from this.
2 minutes left on this dragon. That could be a potential swing point for Pandas with hats should they decide to make a move on that first. Subarashi opting for some top lane vision.
Ooh.
Tefra potentially caught out. Who's the one that's caught out here? Is it RLS or Pandas? Looks like neither. Both sides just going to relax and farm it up. RLS pressuring this top side right now while Dr. Schmeckles has a top lane to handle.
Yeah, 1:50 on the dragon, so not quite in time for that to happen, but I really like how Kieri is moving her way around the map and trying to shift that weight around. Has completed the Sunfire Cape as well. Seems to be working towards the Hullbreaker second, which I love to see. I think in this particular instance, Pandas with Hats doesn't have a great character to send into that. Ideally, you'd want it to be Dr. Schmeckles, but as we've already seen, he's a little bit too weak in terms of gold in order to make that happen. So they're probably going to have to send Hubes, and that does not feel good. But both teams now raring up for this.
Yeah, Pandas with hats opting for this Rift Herald. It does go in favor of Pandas with hats for a good time. Nice escape out of there. Subarashi on the back pedal will take. Penguin just going to have to run away. You weren't even initially part of this, and that's just unlucky. Triple kill in favor of escape. Hubes, meanwhile, getting chased down by Kieri Alexion. Hubes just going to dash away.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to look real grim for Pandas with Hats. I like that they're trying to make proactive plays around the map, but without the proper vision established to meaningfully do anything. For a good time now on the run against a single support, and he's just dying to these minions.
All right, Pengu, let him have it. Let him have it. Pengu, you don't know. Okay, that's fine. Pengu Soul picking up that kill. Tefra making sure for a good time has no way back into the base, but supportive combat was possible. It was totally possible for them to be able to 1v1 that.
100%. And look at this. I mean, RLS just owns all 4 quadrants of the map at this point. War Leader continuing to establish dominance. We've got Tefra and Pengu Soul walking on this red buff. Schmeckles trying to defend what little territory he can. Dragon spawning in 6 seconds, and Pandas with Hats. I think they have to make the stand here while Escape isn't around.
They could catch out Pangusol and Tefra should they decide to move towards them first, but that's going to be War Leader picking up that dragon. Dr. Schmeckles gets ultied by Pangusol, running really low, immediately goes down to Pangusol. Cubes is going for the potential assassination though, but that's going to be RLS taking away that dragon. Cubes has to flash away while War Leader flashes forward. Kieri Alexion has entered the building. Voltaic Penguin goes down, and the rest of Pandas with Hats are just going to have to run away 21-7 in favor of RLS.
Rapidly losing sanity, more like really loving this Scion right now, Chris. They are just slamming through. Great use of the choke points, finding these ultimates in these corridors, making it very difficult to give even a smidgen of a chance for Pandas with Hats to come into this game, as the lead has ballooned to 10,000. Subarashi gonna try something though.
Subarashi, nice attempt right there. Looks like they're so desperate for something. For a good time, finds War Leader. War Leader goes down to Schmeckles. Subarashi goes down on the RLS flank, and Escape is just huge right now. That's Hubes going down. Triple kill in favor of Escape. This could be a quadra. Voltaic Penguin goes down. Quadra kill. The pentakill is possible. Tef is chasing right now. I say you do it. I say you abandon everything else for a good time. Trying to get Pangusol at least. Nice stopwatch. This bites sometime. Escape, you're not even moving, man. This is your penta. Pangusol and Kieri Alexion just going to pick it up for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Escape making the reasonable choice, shoving out the mid-wave, you know, trying to get damage on the mid-tower.
Fine.
Respect to RLS for having the bloodthirstiness, though. I mean, like, they've got 26 kills. You know, they want to add more to it. They want to chase down that Lee Sin, and, you know, more power to them. But it's a bloodbath here in Week 7 of FOF.
Yeah, and I believe if Pandas with Hats lose here, I believe their playoff journey ends, and tomorrow's game for them will just be a for fun match. But if somehow Pandas with Hats were to somehow come back, that would set them up for a chance at that final spot. So RLS obviously looking to play spoil, obviously trying to look good in these upcoming games, closing out the season.
Yeah, and you don't want to let up on the pressure for a moment, right? Because you're going to be playing against, you know, competition in the playoffs that's going to punish very, very small mistakes. And, you know, Pandas with Hats still has that opportunity. They do have pick potential on this team, with the likes of the LeBlanc chain followed by the Nautilus queue. The problem is that they don't have any place to actually hide to set things up. I say that, though, and for a good time, looking for something sneaky here.
If he lands this Q onto Escape, which he does, it could be the Q to go. That's a nice knockback. Everyone on the side of Pandas with Hats is here. Subarashi gets the ulti onto Escape, but Escape is just able to jump over walls because AD carries can do that now, apparently for a good time. Now gonna get deleted by Escape. Escape is legendary. Schmeckles is here to clean it up, but Pangusol is able to take out the rest of Pandas with Hats. Schmeckles all alone. RLS kills now 30-9 in their favor.
Holy cow, man, for a good time. What a fantastic play. If that was any other character, any other AD carry except Zeri, that is a free kill. That's the way that you turn it. Unfortunately, it is Zeri. Zeri can hop over walls, no problemo. And RLS continue to do stuff. Subarashi, just saying hi. Yeah. He knows that he can't stop this man.
Accepting the handshake.
Yeah, just hang it out.
Yeah,
look at him go, dude. He's gonna get that farm.
And for a good time, and Cubes are here to ruin the harmony. Nice way to block the Scion ult to Kieri Alexion. Now on the back pedal, and there's a lot of chase potential on the side of Pandas with Hats. That's going to be 4 members committing to Kieri Alexion. 5 members make it, actually.
Kieri doesn't get another kill from
the okay, I was going to say. All right, now run. Now everyone run. You just run. Schmeckles. Schmeckles.
Schmeckles, run.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
30-10 in favor of RLS right now. Pandas with Hats getting a kill to be able to buy a little bit of time for themselves. We'll see how much that actually amounts up to.
Yeah, I mean, while all the excitement was going on in bottom lane, respect to Subarashi for being a good sport and just like saying hi to the big bald man. But you know, they do pick up the Baron. Oh my God! You can't walk in. You don't have. That's not your jungle anymore, buddy. You're a wandering blind man. You no longer have a jungle for a good time. I'm sorry to say.
Soul is up in 30 seconds, but it's not gonna matter. War Leader is on straight onto Hubes and the rest of Pandas with Hats. Pandas with Hats are able to take down, actually no one, sorry, RLS takes down all members of Pandas with Hats. This could be the game as they push with their Baron minions up to that bot lane. Kieri Alexion also going for that top lane, making sure they got every objective possible.
Yeah, RLS doing their absolute best to not only close this out in cleanest fashion, but also try to make their stats look real good at the post game. Look at that decisive victory at 22.5 minutes. RLS takes the game and shuts out Pandas with Hats' playoffs dreams.
Yeah, unfortunate for Pandas with Hats. That does mean they are eliminated, I believe, as long as no one corrects me there. Pandas with Hats, thank you so much for your participation and your journey with us in Front of Foe. We saw you guys make a bunch of miracle plays. We have so many Dr. Schmeckles clips. And we're just so excited to have you guys here. Thank you guys so much for participating. Rapidly losing sanity. GG, well played. Nice stats. You can see their stats inflate in the Jeff stats next week at the Front of Foe Connect if you go to FOFesports.com/press. Zenzen, thoughts on the game?
I think Kieri Alexion, she played absolutely phenomenal on this Scion, and from that immense amount of pressure was allowed to continue to push out the game. Honestly, all of RLS looked great this series, and I wish that we could see this level of mastery from RLS all the time, because I feel like in RLS's losses they look a little bit more scattered. They don't seem to be as aggressive on all stages of the map, but in this game they showed playoff form. This was the level of RLS that made the Helios Grand Finals last season, and if they come into playoffs at this level of competition, I think that they're gonna upset some people. They're gonna take some names.
Absolutely. I have high hopes for rapidly losing sanity. I know a lot of their fans. We're gonna be really exciting to see them in playoffs. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break, go to an interview with RLS Escape. See you guys soon.
Ça faisait un tout vraiment magnifique, même adulci les m'ayant planté là, c'est à moi que chante tout ça.
Mr. Bam will stay behind, and he will perform one of the most popular piece of music in Asia, especially in Asian heritage.
folks. One final interview for the day, joined this time by RLS Escape, popping off from the bot lane. How are you feeling after the big win?
I'm just happy it's done. You know, I'm very happy that I finally got to get that Zeri game in. She's been a champion I've really enjoyed. She's been a champion that's basically been permabanned whenever she's been on the table for us. It just hasn't made sense.
Yeah,
so I'm happy we finally got to get that game done and had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, you were telling me in the break this is only the second time that it has not been banned again.
Oh yeah.
First time. So
yeah, no, it's second time. I believe it's second time it hasn't been banned.
Okay. First time on stage though.
Yeah, first time actually playing it.
There you go. Then it was a big pop-off for you folks. So before we talk about how you performed in this game, let's set the table. This was, from your side, you folks had the Scion, Diana, Victor, Zeri, Thresh matchup. I think that there's a lot of good parts to this draft for your team specifically. I think there's a lot of comfort there for a lot of those champions. It's always great to be able to play around Tef's Thresh. And then Kiri, she was a phenomenal, unmovable Scion in the top side. What were your thoughts overall on how the draft that you folks had wanted to put together for this game and what you ended up against on the other side?
Well, I'm the active drafter, so I'm the one who gets to pick the actual champions. I know, obviously, we all talk about stuff, but I'm the one that's actually clicking the buttons. Thresh, Victor, Diana, a lot of the mentality that we've been working on lately and a lot of our scrims has just been about actually forcing ourselves to win the games that we should be winning, because we're good at generating gold leads, we're good at doing our fights, we just haven't actually been good at pushing ourselves to the win a lot of the time, and we're playing a little bit reserved, and I think a lot of that falls on me. But that's what these picks are asking us to do a lot of the time. It's just like, hey, we have to press the go pedal, we need to go, we need to actually make our win, we need to make it work. And it showed, you know, we've been doing a lot better with it lately in our scrims and in our practices, and I think this showed up and we did it really well today. Diana, I think this is the first time War Leaders actually pulled it out this season, but you know, it wasn't like is this going to work? We know he's going to kill it. He consistently does really, really well on it. Wasn't really surprising at all. We expect Kiri to be able to just sit there and weak side top gap. That's just kind of what she does. She's very good at doing that. She did it here. She's done it before. Not the first time we see it. It's not the last time we'll see it. The only thing that's a little bit odd with our composition is the Zeri, because I sat there and was told the list of ADCs that I could play, and I thought to myself, well, Zeri's getting gutted pretty soon. I really want to play her, and then it came through. But I think generally we got a lot of champions that people have fun playing. All of those like, I just want to play this. You know, that's basically what we got. And I think everyone had a really good time with the game that we just played.
In the last game, I was talking to Red how that felt like a very traditional UB draft. This felt very much to me like a traditional RLS draft, even though if you, as you say, we have not seen you on the Zeri in actuality. I don't think War Leaders played Diana maybe
once last season. Once last season. Yeah,
I swear I saw him play one earlier this season, but I guess I'm wrong. But either way, again, not a champion that we've seen in the pool, but play style wise, I think that this is a clear cut. It was an RLS draft through and through, and you folks played your outs exquisitely, which it obviously shows on the scoreboard, as this was quite the smothering. Now, I do want to highlight the Zeri that you had pointed out. Not a champion that's been let through to you, but we have seen Zeri, now that the patch has sort of made her a little less oppressive, start to be loosened up a little bit. I'm still waiting to see some of those nerfs rather actually affect the champion, because you were 14-3-5. You were absolutely massacring people in this game. What were your thoughts on how you were able to play out this champion? Someone that is, very mobile, has a lot of agency for themselves, but is also kind of fragile because of that. You're very reliant on either you making sure that you get out of the way at the right times, or praying that lantern is going to fall right on your head. And one other question I don't want to ask you while you're talking about this, Zeri, is that I just now noticed that you actually had picked up the Titanic in your build. I thinking about it, that seems like a really good idea. Giving a little extra survivability, it still gives you the cleave. Just can you give me some thoughts overall on how you're able to pull ahead in this game, stay safe, stay alive, and get all of those kills? And then if you could, just give me some thoughts on this Titanic.
I think the easy answer to how I'm able to stay alive, get myself set up for all that type of stuff, the easy answer to that is Tef. Just amazing job of setting me up all the time, making sure that I can play safe. It seems to have like Hawkeye vision of the entire map. You know, it's the first person to call it. There's a gank happening top lane is normally Tef. They're incredible at just making sure that they have the map presence, the vision control, and they're really, really good at setting me up to get started. Obviously, this is not all me. I made a lot of mistakes. They were pretty blatant. But a lot of that gets covered up by my teammates, and obviously I have Tef in my hip a lot of the time, so it shows a lot and really covers for a lot of the issues that I do have as a player. So just from the basic like execution perspective, obviously I have a lot of Zeri experience, but I think a lot of what allows me to get the crazy stuff done that happened this game is on account of Tef landing really good hooks, setting me up with lanterns, that type of stuff. And then, yeah, as for build, I did absolutely nothing weird here. I think most of her builds go Runan's Titanic or Titanic Runan's. You basically look at it.
I thought it was the lifesteal one. So
oh yeah, no,
I was just curious because I frankly just don't see a lot of Zeri because it's just banned.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, no. There's some people that like to go for Titanic, or most people go for Titanic. There's some people that go for Ravenous Hydra. Basically, build orders completely determined on what you're playing into. If you're playing into a composition where you're going to be hitting like 4 melees, then you probably want to go Runans first because that's more important for hitting your front line. Titanic's going to let you hit the back line. Once you get your 3 items done, it doesn't really matter what the layout is. Obviously, once she has her 3 items, it's basically her power spike at this point. She can just 1v5 team fights, and as long as she's hitting one person, she's hitting everyone. That's where a lot of her power comes from. And I didn't really get the opportunity to use that because we just had such a massive gold deficit by that point in the game. We basically just 3v5 that last team fight. But yeah, I don't think I did anything too crazy this game. Obviously, it looked like it with a quadra kill and a ridiculous scoreline, but I think that's a big time on my team just being enablers, and I'm able to press E and chase people down.
Good. I'm glad you're not a delusional ADC player that's like, oh yeah, man, dude, I was just auto spacing them, like they couldn't touch me. I'm just built different.
I got
actually
hooked.
just 5-head on them.
I got hooked.
Go ahead.
No, it's just you can't say that if you get hooked. You shouldn't get hooked.
That's fact. One thing I do want to tip my hat especially to Tef because in solo queue he plays like, and this is the difference between us being here in organized play. This is organized play, and being in solo queue because he plays like the solo queue psychopath gameplay where it's just like, all right, hey, I'll be back. I'm gonna go to I see good vision on top side. I see that this is the time for me to back and put myself on top side to make a play, and you're just like, all right, like that's gonna happen. It's gonna pull out. So like, but in solo queue, you do that. You're getting flamed by your ADC. How dare you leave my lane? You come back here. You're my caddy. So Tef in this organized play is totally unleashed, and I think that you folks do an exceptional job of not only for you personally have to make sure that this guy whose responsibility is basically just to save you in addition to all the other things supports need to do, you have to help him out, especially make sure you actually click the lantern. There's a button that you need to click that puts you in the lantern, something that most people I encounter in solo queue don't know.
Just don't, yeah.
So.
I mean, like, let's talk about that, right? Like, we see Tefin often talk about our last 2 games, which is against New Wave Tsunami, I believe, and Yubi. Those 2 games where we basically drafted the exact same composition twice between both games, and I had very minimal support. Like Tef basically spent no time in the bot lane at all, and it was completely down to they have a non-aggressive bot lane. I'm able to gap these players 2 versus 1 and just get a CS lead. I think Anti pointed it out in our game against Yubi, where I'm up 10 CS even though I've been 2v1 all game. And Tef is able to go around, make plays, have a ridiculous KP, and get the game started from the other sides of the map. So Tef is very capable of switching between those 2 play styles, and I think the team is as well. And it's really impressive the way that they are able to just go up top lane. One of the things that I think first game against UB was a level 4 roam top lane to shield a Malphite to win the trade and get the kill top lane. Right? They're just insane at seeing those types of plays. So they're capable of molding and just being ready.
Hell yeah, and that sort of does dovetail me into the final question I'll pose to you, which is that RLS. The score line told to us on the scoreboard and the leaderboard is sort of not reflective of sort of what I would say is expected play out of RLS. You've been very good since you joined the league, and I think that you folks have played very good this season as well, but more losses in the loss column than I thought. You folks are advancing as we get into our playoff seeding. Or you're rising and getting additional wins to pad your stats as we get ready for the playoffs is what I mean. So how are you feeling, given this upward trajectory here, about how things might go for you folks looking towards these playoffs?
I mean, I think middle of the season we're the 3rd best team. Obviously, standings don't say that. Standings say we're 5th, but we have 4 subs in against TDE, and we have one of the closest games of the entire season. They didn't look competitive for a lot of that game. It was mostly on the back of Mizusa playing very well that got them back into it. I don't know if that's still the case today. Obviously, we're going to have the opportunity to play them tomorrow and see if that's still like accurate. But they weren't strong enough to beat us in proper strength. You know, we had Ruby in there who'd been literally practicing jungle for about 3 weeks at that point, and we still were on top of the table for most of that game. So, you know, it's trash talk, but it's also accurate. I think that a lot of our losses are down to we've had some difficulty with scheduling and that type of stuff, but we've also done a lot of time just experimenting and trying to get the team ready to play however we need to play. And so, you know, I agree with you. I think the fact that we're currently sitting 4th is probably fine. I think that we've been better than 4th. I think we've been worse than 4th. So I think that putting us dead center is probably about accurate for the overall return of the season. But yeah, we have too many losses. I think we all agree with that, especially in RLS. We've talked about that. We've definitely taken some losses that we really didn't need to. That TDE game is a great example of it. But you know, we'll see how that go to playoffs, because that's where stuff actually matters. We've qualified at this point. We're locked in to play Wash first round. We're not worried about that set at all. So we'll go forward from there.
I am checking out in the chat, and I do have some words to you from the famous Champion Red, letting you know Escape is the 8th best ADC, gonna get 3-0'd in semis, smiley face. You know, not everyone's a big fan of you, Escape.
That was my rating. That was my rating. I put myself 8th.
Oh, banger. Oh, okay. Okay.
So you know, if he wants to go, that was my call.
Wait, it's actually that's actually 5-head. You just lull them into a false sense of security using the connect to rate yourself low, and then you just actually blast them in playoffs. Wow, that's actually Giga.
Yeah, no, I'll sit here and have a big ego for the sake of making things interesting. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to playing against Red. Obviously, Red has had really good showings in a lot of his games. I have a lot of respect for how he's been able to play this season. But we'll see.
All right, well, Escape, always a pleasure to get a chance to chat with you on the desk and when we're in the green room, but not everyone gets to see that. We get to have some good, fun chats, always very informative when we get a chance here on the interview desk. Thanks for joining us, Escape. Before we step away, though, your last chance. Any final thoughts?
Oh, just the required stuff. Simply that was another dub for the Ruby League server. We're gonna keep going as hard as we can. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. It's by no means a guaranteed win-loss or anything like that, but I think that's been the most exciting part of the season. I really think we can win just about any of our games, and there's definitely room for us to lose any of our games. So we'll go from there. We'll see how it is. Thank you very much for having me on.
Of course, and thank you for joining us, Escape. Thank you to our many teams that have joined us this season. Some of you, the season might be ending soon, but we are grateful for all of the fans as well as the teams that have joined us during this season. We do have one more set of games coming up for our regular season tomorrow, 4:30 Pacific time. We hope that you'll join us to see the conclusion of this exciting season of Heroic. But that is going to be it for our broadcast today, folks. We're going to be back tomorrow, as I said. Please make sure you check out the Friend or Foe Connect as well as our merch if you're looking for some lovely fresh threads. Maybe your team could be decorating our merch store soon if you end up winning in playoffs. We'll have to see if there's some fancy RLS merch coming out from your victory if you're able to crest the top of the hill here, Escape. But that's going to be it for us, folks. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening and good night.